Alright, so you watched all the DJ Pro Scratch School scratching tutorials, and now you know how to do the baby scratch, the reverse scratch, and the chirp scratch, and you can even do drops. Now I'm going to show you how to record them and some cool and creative ideas on what to do after you record them. So let's get started. Okay, so first I'm going to show you guys how to record your scratches. What you do if you want to record anything in DJ Pro is you go up to the top, you press the record button, and then you hit start recording. But make sure that you don't have anything from a streaming service loaded into a deck. So if you plan on scratching along to a song that you're using from a streaming service or a beat that you're using from a streaming service, you're going to get this notification, recording not available while using a streaming service. So to get around this, if you really wanted to use a song from a streaming service, you could just do a screen record and it will record your whole screen along with perfect audio. Or you could use songs, you just download the song to your device and then use the song like that and it'll let you record. Or you could scratch to a beat on the looper. So let's get a scratch saved up. So we're going to go over here, we're going to find the part of the sample we want to use. I think I got an echo on. Alright, so now we got our scratch that we're going to do. Okay, so let's go over here, hit record, and then scratch. Start new recording. Alright, first of all, eject this. Now nothing from a streaming service is there, and it'll let me record. Start a new recording. Alright, now we do stop recording. And obviously you guys could do better scratch combos. This is just an example. And now, once you're done, you go to your recordings over here. We'll edit the name Scratch 1. And now we're loading it onto a deck. So now our scratch is loaded onto a deck. And you'll see that there'll be some empty space, but you guys could just set a cue point at the beginning and then it'll get rid of the empty space. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to adjust the beat grid because it was a little bit off. So you go to where the beat starts on the waveform and you press this pencil down here and you do set grid start. So now it changes the lines and it's going to start there. So that looks pretty good. So we'll go over here, set a cue point. So now, when you have this track loaded up and you want to add a scratch, you could just go like that, or you could set a loop. And then now you have another track loaded up. You have another track playing. And now you guys could hit sync. Play it. And then add it into your song. So instead of doing it live when you're DJing, having the song ready, if you let's say when you play this song you always do some scratches at that point, you could have this saved, have the loop set, and then when the song plays, it'll do your scratches perfectly, and then you don't have to worry about doing them live at the gig or having to do a scratch that's difficult, having to do it again because it might have been hard to do, especially if you only DJ with the iPad. Sometimes it's hard to get those scratches sounding good live, so now we have a scratch track. So you could do scratch 1, scratch 2, and have 5, 10 of these and always have your best scratches ready to go and load them in as a deck. Now, another thing you could do with this is if you plan on producing your own beat with the looper, you could go over here, you could set a loop, And now you guys could record this. Well, if we get rid of this. And now what you have is a loop. You have a loop from the sampler with your scratching on it in a new track. So now we have a loop with scratching, and then you could do an intro, and then you could do a build up, a drop, and then you could have the beat with some scratching and keep layering it and make your own original track with DJ Pro. I made a lot of videos on this. You guys could watch those. I'm not going to get into it in this one, but that is one thing you could do, is to add to your productions that you produce using just DJ Pro. So now let's get this back, load it onto a deck. And now another thing you could do with this, if you don't want to play it as a track when you DJ with it, is we could record it into one of these pads on the sampler. So we go over here, we go to edit, and now you hit the pencil button, you choose one of these available sample pads, and now you go up here and you see where it says deck 2. And as long as you're not using anything from a streaming service, when you press deck 2, it's going to record that as a sample until you stop. So let's just get one of those scratches in there. Okay, so now we're going to go over here. And we got a scratch right there. So we could go to edit. And then you can name it whatever you want to name it. And then you have it over here. So you could do the same thing, set up a loop. And then you have that scratch saved as a sample. And you could also hit record here. And now you have that sample playing in sync with the loop. And then you guys could also do it with a track too. So you got a track over here. To turn it off, you just press the record button. So now we got. And you could add it in when you're playing any song you want. So instead of scratching with the decks and scratching with the touchscreen, we got a scratch right here. Now let's record a chirp scratch. And then we'll have two different scratches so we can do combos. So let's go over here. Back to the scratch. Hold the button in. Back to scratch tools. There we go. And then let's get a chirp scratch. Go back to classic mode. Get our waveforms. So that's what we want to do. Chirp scratch is a little hard to do, so it might take a couple of tries, but we could always edit that when we record the sample. So hit record. As soon as you hit record, it starts going. We got to make sure we don't have streaming service. Boom. Record. Start a new recording. Boom. Yep. There we go. We got one good one. Stop the recording. All right. Now we go to our recordings. And we're going to go over here. And we're going to name it Chirp. Load. And now we're going to load that onto a deck. Now it's loaded onto the deck. And I think it was like one of the last ones that was good. There we go. So we got that one right there. And now we're going to go back to our 2-deck mode, back to our sampler. And let's go over here. We'll get rid of I'm Excited. Go over here, deck 2. And it was really quick. So now we got 2 samples, 2 scratch tones. So you guys could have fun with this, find ones that work, and then have your own sample pack with just your scratches. So over here, you could create your custom sample packs and then name them whatever you name them. I've named this one, this is my scratching one. So you guys have one with chirp scratch, reverse scratch, and all the scratches that you mastered, put it over here into your sampler. It's not cheating because you guys taught yourself, you watched the videos, and you learned how to do this, and you actually made the scratch. So now you have a whole sampler, a whole sample pack with your scratches, and it makes your scratching so much easier. So if you like learning tips and tricks and how to master DJ Pro and DJing with the iPad, and also the future of DJing and DJing in the metaverse, subscribe to my channel. I make DJ videos every day.